Welcome to Breaking Barriers. You know your path. We know the obstacles, and we can teach you how to tear them down. And now your host, CEO and founder of Adapting Social, John Vigero.
All right, guys, welcome back to Breaking Barriers. I am super pumped today. We got my girl Denise Christopher in the building here.
How you doing?
What's up, Denise?
Thank
we got her in the
you.
building. So we got Attention to Detail Janitorial Services here. I'm super excited. For people like, who is this with these epic shoes, by the way?
Gary B.
Love those. So who is Denise Christopher and what is Attention to Detail?
Denise Christopher. I'm now going into 14 years of Attention to Detail Janitorial Services.
Oh, congrats. That's awesome.
Yes.
That's really cool.
It's been a long time and growing. Started as a small residential cleaning company and quickly grew. My significant other quit his job and then joined me, and we went out at full force. And now we're servicing about 80 to 100 clients. And then on top of that, we do estate cleanouts and
cool.
some larger companies within the area.
So for people that are listening, that are like, wait a second, how do you work with your spouse, right? So many, and by the way, my wife is my CFO of all of our companies. And so like, I love it. I'll dive into that on my side. But like for you, like what advice would you give somebody who's watching this that's saying, is she freaking crazy? She works with her husband. Does she want to rip his hair out?
It's, well, he's bald. So,
Okay. Well, that helps.
I would say it's just being patient and understanding where they're coming from. And I think with age, 52 years old. So with age, what's important, what's not important, what's worth, arguing about or not. Most things are going to pass, and we deal with whatever's thrown at us.
Do you find yourselves like you'll be at like the dinner table and like you're talking about work and like do you guys have like a shut off button like where it's like no work?
We really don't. As an entrepreneur, it's we're 7 days a week, 24 hours a day.
Right.
If we have to shut things off, we'll make that time and just shut down the phone, forward calls, do what we have to do.
Right. And prioritize.
Family.
Right.
Family is really important.
How many kids do you guys have?
I have 3.
3 kids?
I have a 27-year-old, 24, and a 9-year-old.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yes. So Laszlo, my partner, and a partner in life and in business, he's the daddy of my 9-year-old.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So
that's amazing. Aren't kids the best?
They are the best.
They're
and
like the driving force,
right? It keeps you focused and what's really important, through the craziness.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And when you listen, like when I think about it, like when I had, so it took my wife and I roughly 4 years to have our first child. We had a little bit of fertility issues. And then when I had my son, I was like, wow, it just changed the purpose of like everything, right? Yeah. And now we have 3 under 3.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so we have twins and a 2.5-year-old. So we have 18-month twins and 2.5-year-old. So I'm in the weeds. I'm in the thick of it. But I love it. I'm obsessed with them. But like, what have you, so like, you're very family centric, obviously. You're very driven, obviously, in your business.
Yes.
Like, what is like kind of like the biggest thing that you've learned in the balance, right? Because a lot of the people that kind of ask us questions about like advice and stuff, it typically comes to like, how do you balance life, business, your personal life, your family, your friends, blah, blah, blah. Like, what has been the Denise Christopher method? Like, how have you done that?
I think in the beginning, going back 2012, I would lose sleep over the silliest things, and I think that, literally if I'm like, oh, did I forget to dust somebody's molding? And I would be in the middle of the night, I would. And I'm like, okay, sleep is important. You have to prioritize that. Some days are harder than others as you get older and go through the night sweats, it's like harder to prioritize. But I think that staying focused and really not sweating the small stuff is really important, you know.
But how, so like that's, for people listening, sometimes it's easier said than done. Has there been like a mindset that you've embodied that's helped you like say like, all right, Denise, like, you know what, like I'm fine, or this is okay, this is fine. Like, how have you gotten to that place where you can sleep at night and you're not so worried about it?
There are times when I'm like, when you're either not a lot of sleep, maybe you didn't have the best meals during the day or whatever, and you were like, I don't know if I can handle this today. There's a lot coming at me. I'll stop and I'll just pray. I just turn to faith and I'm like, just get me through, take a minute. And that's really it. And it's, and I think that turning back to that and then take a few minutes for yourself and just keep going. Like you have to keep going.
Listen, that's fire. That's fire. I'll find myself doing that too. Now, do you ever meditate?
I don't, because my mind's still going.
One thing I will say for people that are listening in though is that, so like I like when I started the business, I was 17. I was a young kid.
Wow.
And, you know, and I had a lot going on, right? My family was potentially going to lose the house. And I was a sophomore in high school. And I'm like, Dad, how can I help? I'm the oldest of 5 at the time and still. But like, you know, I remember back then, like my mind was racing like I was running. I was Usain Bolt, right? I was like just super dialed, constantly dialed. I wasn't sleeping. And like, I didn't take my first vacation until I was 12 years in, right? And I remember my wife was like, we got to go away, like leave your phone. And back then I had 2 phones back then before I changed it up. But so I left my actual business phone with my chief operating officer, Chris. And I remember I was on this vacation with my wife in Florida, right? And it changed my life. This guy I'm talking to, the dude I met was at the time, he's probably worth like 50 or 60 million, right? And we were just having this conversation and, you know, he talked about businesses. He had a bunch of businesses, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, you look like you're like a little stressed out. And I'm like, damn, I look stressed. I'm like, I'm on vacation right now. How do I look stressed? He's like, do you meditate? And I'm like, no. And he goes, I'm like, and I said, I had your exact answer. I tried dude, once. I can't sit still. Like, I want to move. I can't. And my mind's
shutting
racing.
Your brain off.
But what he taught me that changed my freaking life was, he goes, meditation is not about shutting thoughts off. Meditation is about you observing your thoughts and having them and like detaching them from you. Right? Because a lot of times we think our thoughts are what we're doing, we're thinking, but our subconscious mind like is sending us thoughts too, right? Like it's creating things in us. And so whether you're anxious, depressed, or you're going through some stuff, or you're stressed out about things, your body is also sending you certain things, whether it's body feelings, it's the thoughts. All and so he said, when you're meditating, it's not about you stopping thoughts. It's about you observing your thoughts. And the picture he gave me was, picture yourself like obviously like at the bottom of the ocean, and above you is there's crazy waves, and those are your thoughts. And you're just watching them, but you're at the calm bottom of the sea, right? But you're just watching them, and you detach yourself from them, and you have awareness that those thoughts like don't have to define you, and they also don't have to make you take any action in the moment. Right? So if you're stressed out, you know, let it go by, right? It's gonna go by. But anyway,
I'll try that.
Because that's what I thought. I thought when you're meditating, you're supposed to stop thinking. And I can't stop thinking.
But I also feel like as you go through your experiences, that you really realize what's important. Certain things will pass.
True.
And you can let more go. You know, and I've learned that every customer isn't your customer. You know, that's one thing that, you know, through experience with different clients. Most of them stay with us, but there's some I'm like, they weren't the best customer anyway. So, you know, let it go. We'll still keep pushing and doing what we could do.
Rudy and I were just talking about that out front, where it's like, you know, when you look at like certain clients or retention as an example, some clients are made for a season that you're in, right? Like they're good. They may bring you some more clients. And some clients are a pain in the ass, right? Some clients are like, damn, I'm putting up with this. Like and it's funny, some of those clients are the ones that are like the cheapest, or like the ones that don't want to spend the most money, but they want to suck all your time and they want to like complain.
But you could always pull something from them. You always like some kind of lesson.
There's always a lesson.
And
anyway, but it's one of those things where it's like in business, like it's hard to think about that. But I remember when going back, I was in a Tony Robbins class, like one of his UPW things. And somebody said what you just said there. We're like, hey, not every client's for you, right? And your energy and your attention and your time is a valuable asset. And if you're focused on somebody who's not a good client for you, how many clients are passing by you because you're so drained by this one client? You know what I mean? But so, all right, question. So what has been one of the biggest things that you've learned about yourself since you started your business?
About myself.
Because before this, what were you doing before this?
I used to live in St. Thomas.
The
U.S. Virgin Islands.
That. She was living in paradise over there.
So there, with my 2 oldest, and my ex-husband, who we're still very friendly with, but I was the director of development and alumni relations at the private school that my daughters went, and also customer service manager. So I had 2 main jobs while I was there for the 11, 12 years, whatever it was. So, but I feel like those jobs helped me with what I'm doing today. You know, just even customer service wise, I was getting into the social media aspect,
I remember you saying
that stuff too. So it all kind of merged together. I just feel like you have to always learn, and you are constantly learn. I'm a big podcast person, and every morning I have a podcast on. So it's just you have to keep learning and not really worrying about the small things, I guess, is really it.
I love that. And in the inquiry form that you submitted, you talked about how, like, you know, playing the cards that life deals you.
Yes. You can only play the cards you're dealt, right?
Right. And but on that topic, right? So, like, theoretically, right, when you were in St. Thomas, that's a freaking dream.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
it was great.
Like the whole thing. And you were there for like 10 years, right?
Yeah, 10, 11, I think 11 years.
Yeah, like 11 years.
Yeah.
That's a decade's a long time.
It is. It was great.
So, like, you know, being in that, what was your takeaway from that, right? Like, being in St. Thomas, like, obviously, did you see yourself being there like longer than that?
No, I thought originally it was only supposed to be 2 years.
Damn, 2 to 10?
Yeah, 2. We loved
11?
it. 11. We loved it. And what I liked about it was everything was just simple. Mm-hmm. You know, island life could get complicated, whether it's storms or whatever. But I was just saying earlier, you know, there were more storms here during the time than there.
Wow.
But I like having 2 choices of bread on the wall, not 100. You know,
True.
I just like the simplicity of things. Like, don't overcomplicate anything. And I think that goes with life in general.
I didn't even know St. Thomas had like a school system.
Yeah. Well, this private school, sometimes I think different years, the public schools there are not accredited. Just depends. So my girls were in the private school there, which thankfully was a wonderful community.
Right.
And I'm still, you know, in touch with everybody.
That's great.
Yeah. So it's good.
So, but what does that saying mean to you? Like, when you break it down, like dealing with the cards that you're dealt, like in life, like how have you applied that?
You cannot help what's going to be thrown your way any day of the week. And I think with entrepreneurship, it's almost like when you have things thrown at you, you don't know what it is. It's like, okay, I got through this. Now what's next? You know, what's the next challenge? I look at everything that's thrown at me as a challenge, and let's figure out how to get through it. Whatever it's life or business.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
isn't it? So that's a good mindset, right? And anybody that's listening to that, I want you to like hear that for a second, because like having challenges be something fun and and actually like something that you want to like strive towards, I think it's such a great thing. A lot of people wake up and they're like, oh, I got to go do that today. I got to go do this. Like, oh, I'm stuck in traffic or whatever.
Yeah.
And I remember in Tony Robbins, we were sitting there and he was talking about how like, he was like, there's the law of polarity. In every situation that you're in, there's always a good and bad, right? It's like cold, hot, up, down, good, bad. In every situation, there's always something positive to find in it. And so I love that you have that mindset, right? It's like for challenges, like you got to look at every challenge in life, whether it's something really difficult, medical, like you were just saying, like, you know, your mother-in-law, through, you know, a challenge at work, a client's unhappy or something. You
there's
know, like,
always something going on. And that's where I had mentioned to you what I've always told my daughters growing up is take any situation and find the light, right? So I just recently trademarked the life is how you spin it, because there's always going to be, no matter what the situation, find the light, just spinning it to something positive.
Right. And that's our job, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, there are so many things. Again, I wouldn't have Adapting Social. Like my dad had challenges, you know, when I was growing up, with like, you know, with alcoholism and, you know, financials and stuff. And I remember like my version of that spin was like, I was like, hey, I don't want to live that life growing up for my kids. Eventually, if I have kids at the time. And also, I don't want my family to lose their house.
Right.
And like, so those two things to me were like, I can do something, right? Yeah. I can't like today, like I can't change the weather.
No.
But I can react to how I'm going to be with this rain and this shitty weather.
Yeah, and
you
your
know
attitude, your attitude's everything, right? Yeah,
right.
It really is.
And so I want to talk about legacy for a bit, right? So with your kids, obviously, you know, family is the most important thing in the world. For when it comes to your legacy, right? In the future, when you're no longer here, right? And your kids are in a room, right? And they're all talking about mom. What do you think, or what do you want them to say about you? She was...
I don't want to use the word hustler because...
you can use whatever you want.
I would say a light. I would say a light, because you want to bring the positive into every aspect of your life.
Right.
So I would say the light. You know,
I love that.
It's...
Now,
and some days are harder than others, you know.
Course.
But that's when we pray.
Are you like a firm mom? Are you like the
no.
like no nonsensical?
No,
like no.
I'm very soft. But I'm not, to a point where I'm going through something with my daughter, my little one now, and I'm like, okay.
Wait, so you have 3 daughters?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm like, you know, okay, I don't want to go to school. We still have to go to school, you know, but what do we have to look forward to?
Right.
You know, but I am soft, and I'm more of I do listen and try to understand where they're coming from.
Right.
But also kind of a balance of, okay, you still have to do what you're responsible for.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So
isn't it so difficult though? Like, and this is one thing too, that like being business owners that really like made me think about it. So like when I look at a lot of people like in the world, just historically, like a Steve Jobs or like a Jeff Bezos, oh my goodness, I always forget her name. The lady who made Spanx. Do you know her name?
Oh, I forget her name too. But yeah, she's amazing. Yes.
Yes. Do you know who I'm talking about? Can you look it up? Okay. Yeah. So, but like these people all had really rough upbringings, right? And I think about my story, like my personal experience, like I had a tougher, beautiful, my family is amazing. My parents were the best people in the world. They're so loving and caring. They had their own challenges. They had me young, but it's like, you know, I'm a byproduct of a tough dealt hand when it comes to like financials and alcoholism, but like, and that made me tough, right?
Yeah.
But how do you make kids tough who are grown up in an environment where they don't have those struggles?
I had my struggles.
Right.
You know,
well, no, I'm not saying you, I'm saying your kids.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
Like how are they going to have your edge, right? Or my edge?
If everything's good.
Correct.
Yeah. But
so
it
do
wasn't.
You have any sort of right?
You know, I think we all are going to go, and I always say that, like, there's always going to be a time that you're going to hit struggles at some point. Everybody, I went through it as a single mom. You know, I went through that for a hard time, and that was my drive.
Right.
I was a single mom for a while and had to just figure things out and just, you know, with the eye on the prize, my kids.
Yeah.
You know, what do I have to do to make sure? So I moved back home with my mom after St. Thomas. But that, you know, but you know, she helped me through everything. My mom and my parents went through their rough times too, but. I don't know. I don't think I would trade it. I'm just glad there were rough times.
It made you stronger,
right? Yeah.
So what people that are watching this, talk about attention to detail. Like talk about like if you're Monmouth Ocean County, what is it that separates you from your competition?
Our motto, which is we don't just clean, we care. And we really do. It's we're probably a little too involved maybe, but you know, I want to make sure everybody's happy. I want to make sure that we're there to help your business, not hurt it or cause more problems and more stress in your life.
Right.
So that's our motto. We don't just clean, we care, and we do. We're constantly checking. We make personal visits to the sites. We're not just, you know, disappearing once that we have the account. We want to make sure everybody's happy and getting what they're paying for.
Right.
Yeah.
And what's good is obviously there's a lot of random, you know, cleaning companies popping up left and right? Like, and you guys are well established.
Yes.
Right. You've been doing this for, you said 14 years?
Yeah, going into 14, yeah.
That's amazing. Let's go.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
The average, and you know, Rudy was just saying this is your 12. And what's so cool though is that like most businesses fail in the first. I think
it's 7.
I think it's the first year the chances of failing are like between 50 and 60%, and then for the first 5 years it increases actually. And once you pass that threshold, it's a little bit obviously.
Yeah,
you know,
and it's hard. You know, it's not easy, but you learn and you grow and you just keep pushing. But so I would say it's that. We also are heavily involved in estate cleanouts as well. So that's a big service. It's not as consistent. Maybe we do 2 or 3 a month on average. We work for several attorneys and real estate agents. Estate planners. So, and with that, we're able to actually take some of the items that are given to us, and we do a lot of donating. And
that's great.
We just support charities
and
do what we
how
can
many
do.
people on your team now?
About 45.
Wow, let's go.
Yeah, so
let's go.
it's good.
I always say like
45.
You know, I look at it like, you know, you're feeding 45 families.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's what we say.
And we're very close with all of our employees.
Right.
You know, we just want to make sure everybody's happy and we're doing the right thing.
That's amazing. That's
know.
amazing. So where can people find you? Like website, social, call, the whole thing for someone who's watching this right now.
So website is atdcleanteam.com. Our office is on Brick Boulevard, but we're kind of in and out of there. Phone number is 732-814-1616. And Instagram is Attention to Detail New Jersey, NJ.
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 NJ, yep.
And on Facebook, but all the links are on the website.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, listen, first off, I believe time is the one asset we don't get back.
Yes.
So you spending it here today with us means the world to me.
Thank you for having me.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And guys, go check Denise out, Attention to Detail Janitorial Services. You will not be disappointed. And for people listening in, again, I'm mind boggled that we are in Q4 right now. I keep telling everybody, whether it's client or it's people that listen into this, Q4, this is the time. Like I would say every year, Q4 it almost isn't a part of the year to me anymore.
Yeah.
Right? I look at Q1 through Q3 as like, that's your time to dominate business.
Yeah.
Q4 is wrap up, plus get ready for 2026.
Yeah, 100%.
So if you have not achieved your goals yet, guys, get dialed. There's still 3 months to get the F after it. I hope you have a great day. Go check Denise out, guys. Attention to detail. And Jay, you will not be disappointed. And I love that quote, though. We don't just clean, we care.
Yeah,
so
we do.
Denise cares, and we appreciate it, guys. Create a great rest of your day. Thank you for listening.